Hello.
Denise.
Hi, Saul. How are you?
Hey. Let's see if I can get this to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the background works.
Background perfect.
Thank you for getting me the logos.
Amazing.
All right, so audio works good.
We have a few people already joining early. We have Maurice, we have Eddie.
Good.
And then what we will be doing is everyone from our team who joins will have Dash Luxury Cruise Connections here.
What were we saying? They're gonna have what?
Sorry. Everyone.
That's okay.
Yes, everyone who Explora Journeys, who joins from our team will have Dash Luxury Cruise Connections, as you see here. And then you will have Explora.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And then I wrote it from Explora Journeys. Right next to your name.
Lovely.
Lovely.
I've been on back-to-back virtual meetings, so I feel like my voice is fading.
I feel you. And then we have over 70 registrations today, so this is really good. And hi, Tom. $78, really good.
Denise, do you live close to the office, or did you tell me you're kind of like out west?
No, actually, I live in Midtown, Miami.
Oh, you're in Midtown.
Yes.
Nice.
Oops, sorry.
Hey, Saul, Marco, how you doing?
Hey, Marco, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Oh, I'm starting to see more of the team members. Hey, guys.
We're slowly joining, but
All right, awesome.
Happy to see you.
Thanks for the support.
Have JC as well. Hi, Maurice. We have Carlos joining as well right now.
Hello, hello, good afternoon.
Hey, Carlos.
How's
Where
it
are you,
going, Saul?
Where are you, Carlos?
I am actually sitting at your desk.
I knew that.
What's wrong with your office?
We had an interview earlier today, and it ran a little longer than expected. So Chris, who you haven't met, by the way, he's our new manager of talent development acquisition.
Okay.
He's helping us recruit our next class of professional cruise advisors.
Nice.
So hopefully within the next couple of months, we're going to have a new class to train and to on board to have joined our team.
That's
so
exciting.
we've been actively hiring. So by the way, if you happen to know anybody that might be interested, come our way.
I will. I was gonna say the same because I'm actively interviewing for our future business relationship leaders, which I'm sure we've shared with you. That's what everybody else in the industry refers to as a BDM. So we're actively interviewing for that role, and then we're also actively interviewing for what we might call like a business specialist, or maybe like an account executive or something. Not account executive, but like a commercial business specialist that will work alongside Chris, Amy, and myself, but would like really day-to-day support us more administratively, but also interact with our travel partners. And we want that person here in South Florida. So if you know anybody who's interested in doing that type of work,
I'll let you know.
We need the help.
Yeah. Listen,
We're
so
all
excited about today.
Very much excited
about
for you, Saul.
Oh, wait, I think I lost you. Wait.
I said I have somebody for you, one of your old friends.
Uh-oh. One of my old friends?
Yep.
Who?
Sandra Mirabal.
Sandra. Yeah, I know Sandra. I should send her a note.
I'll have her reach out to you.
Okay, do that.
She just took on a role that she wants to get out of in the pharmacy world. So
okay.
We have a few people joining us.
Yeah, so we have Maurice. How you doing, Maurice? And hello, how you guys doing? I only see Maurice in the name, so I can't hear. Why don't you go ahead and mute yourself real quick?
Jill.
Oh, Jill, how you doing? How are you guys doing? Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. And we see Eddie and Susan and Karen and David and Norma. And it's still a little early for us to get started, but I'm extremely excited about today's opportunity because it is the first ever Luxury Cruise Connections and Explora Journeys virtual cruise event. Right, Saul?
Sure is. And we are equally as excited. So thank you, Carlos.
So what we'll do is we'll allow people to continue to chime in from, for the next few minutes. We'll talk a little bit about, obviously we'll talk a lot about Explora Journeys. We'll talk a little bit about the relationship with Luxury Cruise Connections, a little bit about us too. I mean, I know that many of you here today have done business with us, know us, have been hearing about us, or any of the above, but probably have not had a lot of interaction with us in the past. And so today we'll have an opportunity to also explain how we participate in this crazy world of luxury cruise travel, and I'll make proper introductions very soon. and we'll get started. We'll get started very, very soon. We're expecting a good turnout today, Saul. We have I'm expecting that by say 4:05, we're probably going to see that little numbers of participants go up to close to 40.
Yeah.
So
great.
it'll be fun. I like I like that size of groups because it really allows for good interaction. We, what's going to happen today, going to give you a little bit of a preview. We're going to have a short presentation from Saul explaining what Explora Journeys is all about. And then toward the end, we'll open up for a Q&A and we'll be able to ask questions and get answers. And apologize for the I guess blue over blue background of that. Like, our company name is Luxury Cruise Connections, not just Connections, just in case.
Is it not coming across clear?
It looks
a little faded.
It blends with the background, but it's okay.
We tried.
It's okay. We'll say Luxury Cruise Connections enough.
I know our customers already know that we are Luxury Cruise Connections, right?
That's it. So for those that are already here, a little bit of a preview. You will see. So I'm Carlos Edery, and I'm the CEO of Luxury Cruise Connections. And Denise, who you just heard a second ago, is our marketing manager and who coordinated and put this together for us. And Saul, who in case you cannot see because the presentation is covering the screen, Saul, why don't you go ahead and say hello?
Hi, everybody.
There you go. So Saul is with Explora Journeys, and I'll allow him to introduce himself properly very soon. But what he does is basically bridges that relationship between Explora Journeys and Luxury Cruise Connections, and really is responsible for making sure that we have the right tools and the right, I guess, setup to be able to amaze our clients with not only amazing service, but also some great special, I guess, pricing and opportunities for you guys to take advantage of. Let's see, what time is it? It's 3:59. We're gonna start in about a minute or so while everybody else continues to chime in. Hello, Gary. Hello, David. Hello, Michael.
Oh.
Michael Siegel. I have a very, very, very close friend of mine called Michael Siegel. I'm not sure if you're the same person. I can't see your face.
Might be a little biased towards Laura's Zoom profile picture there.
Laura's?
Yeah. The beautiful aerial shot of the ship. Thanks, Laura.
Okay, 4:00. So let's officially welcome our attendees today. Hello, everybody. How you all doing today? My name is Carlos Edery, and I'm the CEO of Luxury Cruise Connections. And I want to officially welcome you all to our first exclusive Explora Journeys virtual event together with Luxury Cruise Connections. I will let Saul introduce himself and talk more about Explora Journeys and why this is such an exciting opportunity. As you all know, Explora Journeys is a brand new cruise brand, participating in a very particular space in the luxury cruise industry, and they're approaching this industry with some uniquenesses and some particularities, which I know you all are here to learn about. And so what's going to happen today, for those that are just joining us, is we're going to get started with a short presentation from Saul, and then toward the end, we're going to go with some Q&A questions, some Q&A session. For those that are, again, just joining, you'll see that as part of the attendees to this event, you're going to have some people have Dash Luxury Cruise Connections next to their name. That means that they're part of the Luxury Cruise Connections organization, our agency. And Saul is going to have Dash Explora Journeys. That's because Saul is representing Explora Journeys. He is our bridge with Explora. And because of this great relationship is the reason why, first of all, we're having this amazing, this amazing opportunity of sharing with you guys all these details about Explora. But also because of this relationship is the reason why we're able to service you guys and take care of all of you existing and potential and future guests with amazing opportunities, not only pricing, but service with Explora Journeys. So without further ado, please know a couple of housekeeping items here. There is a chat box, which you'll see toward the bottom center of your screen. And please know that you can ask your questions there. And obviously, we will make sure to read all of them and get all of them answered toward the end. Let me just say here, a second, I'm going to say, hello, this is where you ask your questions. Also, toward the end, we will be able to obviously just open up the mics and ask questions. You raise your hand and just start asking questions. So again, Denise here, who you'll also see, she put this together for us. She's our marketing manager. Denise, thank you very much for putting it together. She's also going to help us coordinate the mutes and unmutes of all of you. Saul, why don't you go ahead and officially introduce yourself, introduce Explora, our relationship, and take it away.
Thanks, Carlos and Denise and the rest of the Luxury Cruise Connections team. I just want to say welcome to all, and thank you for dedicating the time to join us for this very special event today. As Carlos was mentioning, my name is Saul, and I am the VP of Sales here for Explora Journeys. My responsibilities, actually, I share my responsibilities with a colleague and counterpart. Between the two of us, we divide the US, Canada, and Latin America. And so we get to work alongside our Global Chief Sales Officer. And so we make up the commercial executive leadership team for Explora Journeys. I joined the company back on April 1st, which was a really exciting time. Because when I joined the organization, we still were not officially revealed or announced. So when I joined, I had no idea I was working for Explora Journeys. All I knew is that we were working for the luxury division of our parent company, which is the MSC Group, and we'll get into a little bit later. But I joined in April, sort of just having bought into the vision. As to what's being created here, and hopefully we'll be able to share all of that with you today. When Carlos says we have a very special partnership, he's not lying. We definitely do. Not only is this the very first virtual client event that we Explora Journey have hosted with any of our partners, but Carlos and Denise were the very first partners that Chris and I, who's our Chief Sales Officer, visited shortly after announcing and revealing Explora Journeys to the world. Carlos and Denise were the very first partners that we actually went and visited in person, sat down, and we were able to bring the brand to life for them. And since then, we've actually had a number of firsts. And just a few months ago, our CEO, who resides in Geneva, Switzerland, which is where we are headquartered. Our CEO was in Miami for a 48-hour visit, and within those 48 hours, we made it a priority to spend time with Carlos and the rest of the Luxury Cruise Connections team. And so that was our very first partner visit for our CEO. So lots of exciting firsts, and so. Without further ado, if you guys are ready, I would love to introduce you to a bold new vision for ocean travel and tell you all about Explora Journeys. We good to go? Yeah, good to go. All right, I see the thumbs up, Carlos. All right, so Explora Journeys. A little bit more about our brand. So Explora Journeys is the new luxury lifestyle travel brand that's been launched by the MSC Group with the ambition to redefine the traditional luxury cruise category. So as I was alluding to a few moments ago, we are owned by the MSC Group. So for those of you familiar and our existing cruisers, our sister brand is MSC Cruises. They've been in operation for many years with a very big fleet of, I want to say 19 plus ships and growing. We are the new luxury lifestyle brand of the MSC Group, so we share the same ownership, but we operate completely independently. We're a brand new brand, and we are really, at the end of the day, the long-held vision, dream of the Aponte family. So the Apontes are the owners of the MSC Group, and many of you know, and may not know, MSC stands for Mediterranean Shipping Corporation. And so MSC is now officially the world's largest privately owned shipping corporation. They've officially topped Maersk. And so that is the family behind this. Incredible financial strength. And that is the reason why we are anchored in Geneva, Switzerland, because that is where the family resides, and that is where the MSC Group operations is. So not only cargo is operated out of there, their passenger ferry division, their contemporary cruise line, which is our sister brand, and now us. I do not sit in Geneva. I am in sunny South Florida, actually in Fort Lauderdale, and so that's where I'm coming to you from today. But we don't think ourselves as a cruise line, but really rather a provider of journeys. You'll hopefully learn quickly that everything we do has a lot of purpose behind this. So we are building a brand that is very differentiated, but is very differentiated. It's differentiated with lots of purpose. We possess both a guest-centric and a travel advisor-centric focus. And the reason why I want to highlight that is back to what Carlos was saying, and then I added to. We are truly building a brand that is built around our global travel advisor community. So we put our partnerships with our travel advisors first and foremost. It is at the very core of everything we're building. We have built this brand along the way with our partners like Carlos and Denise and the rest of the team through all of their feedback and many others in the industry. And so we're highly committed to our travel advisor community and truly building a brand that is going to market through not only ourselves but through our global advisor community. So let's talk a little bit about the guest centricity. So when we say we're guest centric, what we mean is that leading up to the birth of Explora Journeys, the family, the Aponte family, the MSC Group, surveyed nearly 20,000 guests. And in summary, what came out of that survey work, because we surveyed two potential groups of guests. So if I had to paint the picture, we surveyed not only existing cruisers, like many of you, but we surveyed individuals who have never taken a cruise. And there were really three sort of core things that came out of all of that survey work. And people said, if you're going to build a new cruise line, if you're going to build a new luxury cruise line, a new ocean experience, build something that delivers on these three sort of core components. And the core components were people want space, people want choices, and people want privacy. And so that's the reason why we ended up where we ended up. And I will touch on all three of those points as we move along. But sort of our brand proposition, if we had to put it in one screen, and I'll let you sort of read some of the offshoots here, but I'll read through our brand proposition and statement, which is really we're a new style of transformative ocean travel that inspires exploration in all its forms, delivered with a spirit of vibrant, cosmopolitan, and a relaxed European luxury. We have 5 pillars that we really live by, and these are the reasons to believe sort of our key brand differentiators. And I won't read it all in detail, but I'll highlight that The first pillar is a respectful, intuitive hospitality approach. We aim to be the perfect host. And when we say host, the rest of the industry refers to their crew on board ships as crew. We do not. We refer to them as hosts because that's exactly what they're going to be doing. They're going to be hosting all of you on board our new beautiful ships. But we also consider ourselves, myself, my team, the rest of our leadership team, as perfect hosts. We want to be perfect hosts. We want to be perfect partners to Luxury Cruise Connections and all of our advisor community. So that's what we mean by being perfect hosts. We have a European design and flair. We're a family-run organization that is personally curated. And what we mean by personally curated is the Aponte family are very, very involved in the building of this new luxury lifestyle brand. The Apontes have spent nearly 300 years in the oceans, and so the ocean is truly in our DNA. So if you think of their primary business, which is the cargo business, then right off the bat, I mean, the ocean is our world, and so we are further developing that ocean experience with this new brand. We are all about enriching discovery. We are all discoverers at heart. Explora Journeys was truly created to personally enrich the experience for all of our guests and everything that we do. And we have a very conscious mindset. So taking into consideration what I just said, the family has nearly 300 years of seafaring experience. They've built this legacy in the oceans. We're very respectful of the oceans. And you'll hopefully see that in all of our sustainability initiatives and efforts with what we're building. We truly are building a ship that's designed with a lot of purpose. And Mr. Pier Francesco Vago is our executive chairman. And his thing is we just want to set the bar higher. And not only set the bar higher for the industry, and motivate others to sort of jump on board and maybe do some of the things that Explora Journeys are going to be doing. So a little bit about the fleet overview. The Aponte family have committed $2 billion of their own money to build Explora Journeys. It's a $2 billion commitment to build these 4 purpose-built ships. Our very first ship, Explora 1, launches her maiden journey, May 31st, 2023. And then her 3 sister ships will follow each year thereafter. So the second ship, Explora 2, will come out May 2024, the third, May 25, the fourth, May 26. And then we have 2 additional ships on option with the shipyard, which all signs lead to those 2 options materializing, which means we will be a 6-ship fleet with those 2 additional ships being launched in 2027 and then in 2028. So to kind of give you a high-level overview in one slide of what we're executing on board, we are purpose building a 63,000-ton ship. So to kind of put things all into perspective, with that tonnage, there are other existing cruise brands out there that very easily put 300 more bodies on board their ships. We are purposely only going to accommodate a maximum of 900 guests on board our 63,000-ton ship. Because again, if you think back to those 3 points that I mentioned earlier, people wanted space, privacy, and choice. So in order to truly execute and deliver on that, you have to build accordingly. So could we have built another 30,000-ton ship? Sure. But in order to deliver on those sort of 3 core elements, you have to build something accordingly. And so we landed on a 63,000-ton ship that will only carry 900 guests maximum across 461 suites. And we'll go into a little bit more detail about all of these different areas in some upcoming slides. But our 461 suites will all be oceanfront. They will all have private terraces. As a matter of fact, when we do launch, Explora Journeys will be able to offer the largest lead-in suites in the industry which will start at 377 square feet. So that will be our lead-in smallest suites on board. Again, coming back to being the perfect host. So what does that all entail? We are going to be an all-inclusive experience. So the picture you're seeing here, it's a beautiful picture of our lobby and lobby bar. It's actually, if you can see my background, that's where I'm currently sitting in the lobby of our ship. We do not have an atrium. We have a lobby. You'll start to hopefully see, and maybe it'll resonate with you, that what we're building is truly a floating luxury sort of boutique hotel experience. The family took inspiration for this lobby from the Edition Hotel in Barcelona. They've visited there a number of times. They personally love that intimate space of that property, the Edition in Barcelona. They love that sort of lobby bar. If any of you have ever had a chance to visit, and you may notice sort of the similarities. So we took inspiration for our lobby and lobby bar. What you're seeing here as well is on the second floor will be in that space. There'll actually be two of our 9 different restaurants will be located in the space. And then sort of opposite end of the bar that you see there, it's this beautiful staircase that comes up to the second level. But off to the sides of that beautiful staircase will actually be sort of our guest services area, which we're going to, as you would expect, build out a little differently. So the traditional sort of counter that we know of today, where you walk up to, you maybe queue up in a line if you want to speak to guest services, we've done away with that. We're creating more intimate, private sort of pods where you're able to sit down, engage in a more private conversation with any number of our team from our guest services host on board. But Explora Journeys will be an all-inclusive experience, okay? So when you book with us, with luxury, through your advisors at Luxury Cruise Connections, everything's included. Everything from all of your alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, so premium spirits, fine wines that will be served all throughout the ship and in the suites. In addition to that, there will be a very special welcome bottle of champagne that'll be waiting for you in your suites. All of the suites will of course have small refrigerators that will be stocked to your preferences. So if you have a specific sparkling water that you want, or if you have a specific bottle of tequila that you want, the team will procure that and ensure that that's what's stocked in your suite. In addition to beverages, all of our culinary experiences are truly included. So we say here, sophisticated dining at 10 culinary venues, including in-suite dining. So in-suite dining is that 10th experience, but 9 dedicated culinary restaurants experiences, all of which truly will be included. We aim to not nickel and dime any of our guests on board. And so regardless if you're dining in our smallest restaurant, all the way up to our biggest restaurant, which won't accommodate more than 300 people, all of those are truly included. In addition to that, of course, onboard gratuities will be covered. High-speed unlimited Wi-Fi throughout the ship. So I want to sort of point out that when we say high-speed unlimited Wi-Fi, we really mean it. So not only will the Wi-Fi be able to support multiple devices being connected to the network at the same time, but what we've done is we've taken a step further. So we've actually now committed and made the additional investment to add access points to each of our 461 suites all throughout the ship. Each suite will have a dedicated access point in addition to the access points that are located all throughout the rest of the ship. We'll also offer shuttle services from port to city center wherever applicable. So if we happen to pull up to a destination, to a port of call that we're not necessarily at the very heart of the city, then we'll make sure we transfer you there complimentary. This is sort of the technical characteristics. I rattled off some of these numbers as I was introducing the brand and the ship, but this kind of helps put it all into perspective. I really want to focus on 2 things here, because again, it touches on one of those 3 core elements that I mentioned to you. space. Space is a huge factor for us. Explorer Journeys will offer the largest space to guest ratio in the industry. We will offer a guest to host ratio of 1.25 to 1. Now, I want to highlight something that you won't find on our website, and you'll likely never hear somebody like myself say it from a main stage presentation. But the way we are aiming to differentiate the experience on board, there's multiple factors that play into that. And you'll see that throughout the images and the renderings and throughout the presentation. But one of the most important ones is this space factor. So we say we're not going to hold any more than 900 guests. But the way that Explorer Journeys is writing their guest occupancy budgets, it's unlike anything that's done in the cruise industry today, where traditionally across the industry, and there's nothing negative about it, but every cruise line writes their occupancy budgets at 99, 100%. Okay, we are actually writing our budget more in line of that of a luxury boutique hotel, in that, and I won't give the specific number away, but when I tell you that if we are a month before our inaugural journey and we are only at 88% occupancy, let's just say we have met our occupancy budgets. We have no desire to try to fill the ship to capacity, because this plays into the experience we're trying to deliver on board. We want to give all of you lots of space. So if you think about it, you have a 900 capacity ship and we only end up sailing with, let's say, 800. Your space to guest ratio elevates. What also elevates is that host to guest ratio on board, because the number of hosts that we have, again, our crew, the number of hosts that we have on board Explorer Journey never changes. So if we are only going out at 88, 90% occupancy, then that level of service is slightly elevated, a little more. And again, this plays into the experience that we're trying to create for all of you on board. So we'll take you through a couple renderings of Explora 1, and this is sort of her side profile. So we've gone with a very sort of rich navy for the hull, with sort of gold striping throughout the ship, and just above the waterline there's very bold red. So here are a few more renderings of Explora 1. I'll highlight here that onboard Explora 1 and her sister ships, we will have 4 pools. What you're seeing here immediately is we have 2 aft pools just above that marina platform that's in the aft portion of the ship, which again is a very differentiated, very distinguished differentiator for us in the industry. But 2 aft pools, one being an infinity style pool, and then sort of off center under a glass roof, which is a retractable glass roof, is our 3rd pool, and then the 4th pool towards the bow of the ship. Continuing to step away from that traditional mold that you find today on cruise ships, where traditionally cruise ships tend to put the main pool at the very center of the ship, and that's where sort of the bulk of the seating capacity is built into. We're getting away from that. We really want to create 4 different individual spaces that each have a different ambiance, and offer a little bit more privacy at the end of the day. And so we will have 4 pools on board. This is that beautiful infinity style pool that's on the aft portion of the ship, just above that marina platform. So that door on the bottom left hand side of the picture where it says Valletta, which is where the ship's registry will be, that's a sort of a automatic door that just opens and closes, and does raise towards the top end there. So let's talk a little bit about our suites, our penthouses, and our residences. I mentioned earlier, we're all about creating a homes at sea sort of experience. And so that's the reason why we're, again, purpose building a ship of this tonnage, because it enables us to build larger suites. And so, again, we are an all suites experience. What you're seeing here is the lead-in suites category on board Explora Journeys. We have 371 out of the 461 total suite offering. These start at 377 square feet and they'll range to about 420 square feet. The beauty of this is the beauty of these, and starting in this category, is starting from our lead-in category. All of these have very expansive terraces, and we purposely say terraces and not balconies because our terraces will be a little bit bigger than most in the industry. These terraces will have enough space for the traditional sort of dining setup that you find on a balcony today with a table and chairs. In addition to that, we're also going to put a day bed that can easily accommodate 2 full-size adults. And we're able to do that because, again, these terraces are going to be a little deeper, a little wider than most. And so what you're still seeing here is our lead-in suite category. And starting from the lead-in suite category all the way up to the biggest suite on board, all of our suites have walk-in wardrobes. And within each of the walk-in wardrobes, and I think all of the ladies on this call would appreciate, all of the walk-in wardrobes have a dedicated seated vanity area, and the gentlemen also appreciate it. I know it'll save my relationship with my wife and I, because she can keep all her stuff in that dedicated vanity area, and then I could basically take over the master bathroom. But all of the suites will have a walk-in closet with that dedicated seated vanity area. So we move up from the 371 lead-in suites to our 67 ocean penthouses. As you would imagine, these start to get a little bit bigger. So these range anywhere from 463 square feet to 732 square feet. All of the penthouses do have dedicated bedrooms that are privatized, separated from the living area and the dining area in that suite. Then we move up to our 22 ocean residences. So naturally, some of the biggest suites on board Explora Journeys range from 753 square feet all the way up to 1,604 square feet. As you would imagine, these have much more expansive terraces. All of these terraces all have a dedicated, a private whirlpool on each of these terraces. In our 22 plus the owner suite, which you'll see next, in all of our residences, they all will have dedicated butler service. This butler service is true, authentic butler experiences that will be in addition to the suite attendants that will normally service the suites. And another thing I want to point out about the residences is, if you think back to that beautiful image of the aft portion of the ship where there's that marina platform, that marina platform will cater to all of our guests staying in our 23 residences, meaning what we're going to do is we're going to offer a pretty amazing high-speed tender experience. So when we have to tender you to and from the ship to the destination, to the port, if you can envision this beautiful sort of Chris Craft yacht tender approaching the back of the aft of our ship and picking you up from that marina platform and sort of whisking you off to shore. Within that marina platform, just behind that door that we saw in that picture earlier, there'll be a dedicated sort of VIP lounge area with its own bar. So as you're coming on and off the ship, you'll have sort of a dedicated space to kind of kick back and enjoy while you're waiting for that yacht tender. So we're now at the biggest suite on board Explora Journeys, which is the owner's residence. The owner's residence is the one and only, 3,014 square feet. There is only one on each of our ships. This suite actually spans the entire width of the aft portion of our ship. So it runs from starboard to port side. At the very center of that suite is a private plunge pool. So that's what you're seeing in that upper sort of left-hand picture. And then just below that is the master bedroom within the suite. And then running all sort of across the bedroom is just behind the bed there, behind that wall, will be the master bathroom. And then the very large picture on the right-hand side is the dedicated dining room. Again, fully embracing our ocean state of mind. and getting you as close as possible to the sea from the dining room. And so that is the owner's residence. And again, just one of these on board each of our ships. So a little bit about the onboard experience. As you would have expected by now, we'll have a diversity of culinary offerings. What you're seeing on here is sort of thematically, directionally where we're going with our culinary experiences. We haven't yet finalized the names of our restaurants, but you know, I can tell you today that we will have a Pan Asian restaurant, and we will have a steakhouse, and we will have a Mediterranean style restaurant. I can tell you we will not have buffets. There won't be buffets on board Explora Journeys. We'll have a very elegant all-day dining experience. So sort of the space that you would visit all throughout the day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snacks in between. If you could sort of envision this beautiful sort of upscale food hall style experience where you're walking through the Emporium, which is what we're going to call it. We've actually landed on that name. So you're walking through the Emporium with variety of culinary themes and experiences, and you see what you like. Everything is sort of prepared for you a la minute and then brought to you at your table. We are also incorporating bars into a lot of our restaurants, and that's something that came out of the guest feedback. People said, you know, we like when we go to a restaurant in our city, we like to go in early and sit at the bar before we sit down for our reservation. And so we're incorporating bars into some of our restaurants. We'll of course have a coffee lounge that'll be open all day. We'll have a chef's kitchen. I want to actually point out that Explora Journeys has decided, unlike the rest of the industry, we're not going to sort of hire or feature one celebrity chef and really put all of our eggs in that chef's basket. And what we're going to do is we're going to feature a rotating selection of notable celebrity chefs. For example, and you know, without giving too much away, because we're getting ready to make a very big culinary announcement, which is very exciting. But for instance, you know, we may be in our first year of sailing, we might feature 4 different chefs throughout the year. Sort of big names, let's say 1 a quarter. The idea is, you know, cruisers tend to be very loyal, right? Many of you are, and once you're loyal to a brand and you continue to go back to that brand, we want to create a different experience for you every time you come on board. And so if you come with us in May, and then you come back and you join us in December for our New Year's sailing, you might have a bit of a different culinary experience. And so we really want to feed into that and deliver a different culinary sort of journey for our guests on board. Our entertainment will be a little different, you know, and I say different, and you know, in that, you know, even though we are building a 63,000 ton ship, traditionally on ships of that size and that tonnage, you tend to find these big theaters and sort of, you know, you have the capabilities of putting on big Broadway style shows. We won't do that, and not that there's anything wrong with that. You know, there are brands out there today that operate and deliver on that exceptionally, but we're building something a little bit different. We're building, you know, a much more of a cosmopolitan sort of effortless ambiance on board our ship. We'll have a variety of indoor and outdoor lounges, tend to be exact. So there won't be a big theater where all potentially 900 people can go and sit at. There's actually not one venue on board Explora Journeys where you can ever go and sit with 898 of your closest friends. You know, our biggest entertainment venue might hold 300. Our biggest restaurant might only hold around 286. And so again, that's all by design. But we will have a variety of entertainment experiences on board. We will have a small casino. And again, you know, casinos are a form of entertainment, and some of us love them, some of us don't. It was a big point of debate internally, but at the end of the day, we landed on offering one because it is a form of entertainment. Many of us do enjoy, at the end of the evening, after dinner, going and sitting at a table and sharing that experience with other guests on board. And so we will offer a small casino on board Explora Journeys. I don't have a lot to share with you today about our spa experience. What I can share with you is what's on the screen, in that, you know, we will offer very generous spa spaces on board, over 7,500 square feet of indoor and outdoor spa facilities. When I tell you that I don't have a lot to share, is because we're being very purposeful with spa partner that we decide to partner with. What tends to happen in the industry today, in the cruise industry, is there's two big names, and most of you maybe know them because many of you are cruisers. But there's two big names that sort of dominate sort of the spa offerings in the cruise industry. What tends to happen is, you know, these guys tend to be a little bit too focused on the retail experience and pushing a lot of products, you know. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know, we're going for an experience that's really focused on wellness. We want to take a little bit more of a holistic approach. You know, we're curating a very sort of bespoke spa offering that's going to have sort of what we think is going to be the perfect balance. And so I will say that to say more to come. Stay tuned. Continue to check in with your advisors. Continue to go onto our website to learn more because we're probably just a few months away from announcing that. So we'll go through a couple more renderings real quick before we wrap up the presentation. These are just some of the pools that I was mentioning to earlier. This is that beautiful aft pool. We'll actually have 64 cabanas, day beds all throughout the ship, all of which will be, of course, first come, first serve. There's no charge for them. But for instance, if you wanted to have a very special experience, while you're in your cabana, certainly that could be curated on board with our team of hosts. This is just a nighttime rendering of that infinity style pool in the aft portion. And a little bit about our itineraries and our journeys and where we're going and how we're doing it. The concept is what we believe will deliver on all of our guests' perfect day is to do things a little slower and to go a little deeper. What do we mean by that? On average, if we take a look at our first year of journeys, our average itinerary length is about 8.2 nights. So what you're going to find with us is you're going to find a lot of 7s, a lot of 8s, a lot of 9-nighters. If anybody wants to go on a world cruise with Explora Journeys, the beautiful thing is you can absolutely do that. You can start from day one when we launch May 31st, and you can stay all the way through to the end of our first year, May 2024, because we will go halfway around the world. So we will start our journeys in the Mediterranean. We'll make our way through Northern Europe and the United Kingdom. We will offer a few Iceland and Greenland journeys before transiting over to the US, where we will start sort of in that Canada, New England area just in time for fall foliage journeys between September and October of 2023. We then come down the eastern seaboard of the US, where we end up in the Caribbean just in time for those holiday journeys, mid to late November into December through the new year. We then close out 2023. We continue down towards South America. We come back up the western side of the US, and we will actually offer round trip Hawaiian journeys from Vancouver. And what's not pictured here, but I'll share with you today, and it's not on our website just yet, but May, June, and July of 2024, Explora One will also offer an Alaskan season with a number of itineraries within that season, within that time span. Now, keep in mind, May 2024, our second ship, Explora 2, launches, and she will start in the Mediterranean and follow a very similar routing to what you're seeing there. But the overall concept, what I was saying earlier, is our itineraries are meant to go slower. They're meant to go deeper. They're meant to spend much more time in port. We have a lot of overnights baked into the itineraries where it counts. Sort of our other concept is unconventional arrival times and departure times. The last thing we want to do is, if we're pulling into a port of call at noon, the last thing we want to do is pull up anchor at 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. There's no point in that. We might pull up anchor at 2 in the morning, but that at least gives you the opportunity to experience the destination in the evening, experience the culinary offerings of that specific port of call into the evening, and then always come back to your floating resort. What's pictured here is sort of our inaugural Journeys collection. What we decided to do is, many of us who are loyal cruisers, what we tend to do is, there's many of us that love inaugurals. And what tends to happen is, every cruise line has one inaugural, right? Which is traditionally the very first sailing. And naturally, yes, May 31st is our maiden journey. It's our inaugural journey. That being said, what we're doing is we've created 8 inaugurals. And by that, what we said is every time Explorer 1 goes into a new region, it is considered an inaugural. So when we first touch, Iceland and Greenland, that is our inaugural Iceland and Greenland journey in September. The same thing in the Caribbean, and so on and so on. What we've also done is we've designed grand journeys. So for those of you that have a little bit more time on your hands and want to sail a little longer with us, we've designed a 40, a 44, and a 58 night sort of grand journeys collection. But again, if you wanted to sail from May 31st all the way through May 2024, you can absolutely do that. So that brings me to the end of our presentation. I will stop talking. Hopefully we have some questions that I can maybe answer, and I will turn it back over to the Luxury Cruise Connections team.
Yeah, so thank you very, very much. Saul, can you all see me? Yeah, I think so, right? Thank you so much for this presentation. It's, very, very exciting. I mean, it's certainly, an honor to have the opportunity to share all this exciting information with our guests. I mean, very few of our guests, and very, very few out there really, have had an opportunity to learn so much about Explora Journeys and have an opportunity to really ask and understand more about what makes you guys different, right? What makes you guys stand out in such a such a vast sea of options, no pun intended. So we do have some questions. I have some questions that I want to make sure I get across to. But we'll start with some questions from our guests, and we'll take it from there. But before we even go there, I want everybody to know, just like I was explaining at the beginning, right? So for those that don't know this, Luxury Cruise Connections is a luxury cruise agency. We specialize in making cruise travel dreams come true for our guests. We're all about service. We're all about curating experiences. We're all about creating relationships, long-term relationships with our guests, as well as relationships with our cruise line partners, right? And because of that, we can enhance those experiences, and we can make sure that you guys are having the perfect time because we help you choose the right experience for you, right? And so for those that have never done business with us, you should know that we have, we're one of the few agencies that really have a relationship so far with Explora. Hopefully we're, one of the few that have such a great relationship with Explora. And if you liked what you heard today and want to learn more, and might even want to go on board one of these journeys, please contact us, and we'll be happy to connect with one of our advisors who can curate and select and recommend the best experience for you. So Denise put out a couple of polls there. She'll continue to put out some polls like this. From the results, I guess 60% of you today have done business with us before, and 40% of you have not. Thank you for those loyal guests that have, and that other 40% that haven't. Well, we welcome the opportunity to surprise you and amaze you with amazing service. Hopefully you'll give us an opportunity to show you what we're all about. And for this to just, be literally a short introduction, but then when we actually get to deliver service, that's when we actually get to shine. So without further ado, let me just kind of start with some of these questions. Let me see. So, okay. So Jonathan is asking us, why so many cabins? If other similar luxury companies like Ponant, Viking, Windstar have half of that. Other luxury lines have removed their art, sales, and casinos. Are you planning to be in the Oceania space rather than the small boutique ship? Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, obviously you already kind of did, but, kind of explain and elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, no, happy to, Carlos. And listen, it's a great question, and it's one that we get from time to time. And it's just we got to go back to what I was saying. It's the family could have absolutely built smaller ships to really be sort of I guess from a hardware perspective, go toe to toe with some of the luxury, ultra luxury cruise operators out there today. But the family sought out to not build another traditional luxury cruise line. There's several of them in existence. I've had the honor of working for a number of them. I spent the latter part of my 19-year career in this industry working for some of those luxury lines, and they do a great job and they have a great following. But the family wanted to build something different. And so, really, we had to think back to all of that survey work. And what came out of all that survey work was people said, build a luxury experience that will give us the choices that we want when we come on board, that will give us the space that we expect, and privacy. And especially coming out of the last 2 years, I think we all, respect our privacy a little bit more these days than in the past, maybe. But the reality is, many of us, most of all of you, when you leave your home, and you're probably well-spaced, beautifully spaced homes with, lots of square footage, and you go on board a cruise ship for a week or two, and you have to sort of sometimes sacrifice, and you end up in a 200 or 300 square foot cabin or suite. And so we decided we will purpose build a ship of this size so that we can deliver on space, so that we could deliver some of the largest suites at sea. So again, starting from 377 square feet, which is our smallest, our lead-in suite, all the way up to 3,014 square feet. You can't really execute and deliver that unless you build this type of tonnage. But again, with this tonnage, we could have easily put 1,300 people on board. And by only saying a maximum capacity of 900 guests, and by saying, let's write our occupancy budgets a little different than the rest of the industry and say, we're okay with going out with 100 less guests and 800 guests. But if you really put it all into perspective, that tonnage, that size of ship with that number of capacity, your space to guest ratio is bar none the highest in the industry. And so, what tends to happen also, you build another traditional luxury cruise ship that's 20,000, 30,000 tons, and they're beautiful. But you go on board and you have 3 restaurants to choose from, right? You might go on board, you might leave for 3 or 4 weeks with us. Those three or 4 restaurants, you tend to get tired of them. And so we're creating 9 different culinary experiences for you. And again, we can deliver on that because we're purpose building a ship of this tonnage. And so that's the reason really why, the family landed with that size of ship. And again, we're building a luxury lifestyle brand where we are not seeking out to build another traditional luxury cruise line. And, it's sort of, when we say luxury lifestyle brand, all of those things come into the equation, in addition to some of sort of the, some of those key factors that I, kind of give you guys a preview behind the curtain on how we're designing the experience on board, the occupancy, yeah, I think that's probably the best way to put it.
Good. I think that's a pretty good explanation. Right, Denise putting out another poll. Who's looking forward to learning more about Explora Journeys? There you go. Okay, good. While that happens, Jonathan had a few more questions about destinations, but I think that was right before you started talking about the itineraries and where what ports you were visiting. So, Jonathan, in case if you think you need more information on that, let us know. Otherwise, I'll go on with Benita's question. For your basic cabins or basic staterooms, what is the anticipated pricing for the entry-level categories? Yeah. Which, by the way, are quite large.
Yeah, good question. And I will call out Carlos, and I will say it's suites, only suites. We don't have staterooms.
Exactly.
We don't have cabins.
Exactly. Or residences, right?
But no, yeah. So so we're looking at our first year of journeys. Our average pricing, so our average sort of per diem, so we're hovering north of 600 per person per day. So, you know, to give you an example, our maiden journey, which is 11 nights from Barcelona to Athens, in our lead-in suite category, you'll find pricing around 6,000-ish per person. You know, and of course that ranges, right? In the Caribbean, 7-night Caribbean, we have journeys that start at around 4,000 per person. But what I want to also point out is that, and this is also something that we're doing a little differently than how the rest of the industry operates. Our pricing structure. You know, I'll share with all of you today that our pricing structure is one that we aim to kind of go from high to higher. And we say that because we want to always maintain pricing integrity. And so we were sort of kind of a blessed position. If you think back to what I said at the very beginning of the call about us being a passion project of the Apontes, and while they of course expect us to be a very profitable venture, and they expect, we know we all expect to do incredibly well, we're not driven by rates. Our strategy isn't pricing to fill our ships. We're all about delivering the experience, right? And so if by me saying high to higher, what that means is I'm not going to be discounting. That word is actually banned at Explora Journeys. The best pricing is always going to be today. And I know you would expect me to say that because, you know, I'm a sales guy, but it's the reality. The best pricing is today. And as demand increases, our prices will also increase. I'm not saying that our price jumps will be significant like many of the others, but even if we take the pricing up in increments of $50, $75, $100 per person on a journey, that's still going higher, but never backwards. And of course, you know, we will have sort of what is known as an early booking benefit. So if you wanted to prepay your journey in full with your advisor, we'll give you a 10% sort of value savings. And you notice I say value savings, not discount, because again, that word is banned. But that's really to the, you know, the extent of what our sort of discounts or our value savings will be, is that in that early booking benefit. So hopefully that answers the question. I know I shared a little bit more, but it kind of gives you a little bit more sort of perspective into what we're building.
No, I think that's a pretty good explanation. So bottom line, we're talking about close to $700 to $800, maybe $900 per person per day. That's kind of what we can expect, right? So a 7-night voyage, about 6,000 per person. That's a good approximation. What about, so John says, I missed the beginning. Will you make the video available for viewing? Please, yes, John, right after this meeting, as soon as we can, we'll send, within the next 24 hours, we'll send over a copy of this recording of this event, so you can watch it, share it, as much as you want. Maurice is asking, are excursions included?
Yeah, no, good question, Maurice. And so shore excursions, which is what the industry refers to them as, we will actually refer to them as destination experiences. Our destination experiences are not included. And again, that's something that came out of that extensive survey work with our potential guests. People said, you know, it's okay. We don't necessarily need them to be included. We'll either design our own. We will work with our travel advisor to put together our destination experience, our shore excursion. And so destination experiences will be in addition to what you pay upfront. Now, I will say our destination experiences will be very intimate. They'll be highly curated. Our destination experiences can accommodate anywhere from one person to, I believe right now, and there's some internal debate what our maximum size of group would be. But our maximum size group, the debate is be anywhere between probably 12 and 15 people. So very intimate experiences. You know, if we're ever in a destination and we are taking you your destination experience, and we have to take you via motor coach. If that motor coach is a 100 capacity motor coach, you're only going to be on there with probably 20 individuals. And so everything again will be highly curated, and the opportunities for very bespoke experiences. So, you know, we'll have a very vast range of offerings from your traditional sightseeing, you know, visit the landmarks, the highlights of a city, to, you know, maybe some offerings that are a little bit more extreme or a little bit more bucket list style experiences that also come with a price tag. But, you know, we have to offer it because that's what guests are demanding. That's what guests are requesting. And so I think that's maybe the best way to phrase it.
Perfect. And so I'm going to use this opportunity for a quick pause on those questions and share with our guests today that those that are attended today's event, and if you share the recording, anybody that was watching this is going to be eligible for the next 2 weeks. Anybody that is interested in sailing with Explora Journeys, okay? If you want to learn more and hopefully make a booking within the next 2 weeks, you're going to be eligible to receive between 300 and 500 experience credit based on the category. And that's by making your reservation through Luxury Cruise Connections and participating in this event, learning about Explora Journeys. So a little bit of an incentive for you that attended today and liked what you heard. Hopefully, just know that if we do this within the next 2 weeks, you know, then obviously you're going to be eligible for this up to 500. So 300 to 500 based on the category for your next Explora Journeys booking through Luxury Cruise Connections.
Carlos, I just want to add because, you know, again, we are a European brand, so the Journey Experience credit, which you just mentioned, up to 500. Just so you folks know, that's actually up to 500 euro. So the beauty is we get to take advantage of that here in the U.S. And so when that 500, for example, Journey Experience credit in euro is converted to USD, it'll always be at the prevailing exchange rate. So that 500 might turn into $540. So it's just a little added plus of us being a European brand.
So, and I will continue with all the rest of the questions in the chat, but since you just touched that subject, let me ask, it is a European brand, but your target is North Americans. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, Carlos, I think that's a safe sort of assumption, right? Especially if we look at our existing bookings today, right? If we were to sort of look at the bulk of the bookings, yes, over 60% of our bookings right now are coming from North America. We anticipate down the line, you know, and we think it'll be a pretty even split between US and Europe, with some of those other, you know, key sort of cruise feeder markets playing into that, but primarily North America.
Okay. The reason why I asked that is because North Americans, you know, we're quite particular in terms of what we want and the experience that we expect when it comes to cruises, right? You know, one of the things that most North Americans don't like about some of the European brands is that, you know, the experience is catered to Europeans.
Right.
And so, you know, I just want to make sure that we're clear about the fact that the experience, you know, although you might have people from all over the place, the experience is catered for North Americans.
Yeah.
Is that safe to say?
No, absolutely. Yeah, very safe to say. You know, it is a European luxury, you know, experience. And basically what, you know, the owners, what the family is, you know, sort of what, you know, the message I think they would drive home is that we're staying true to our luxury roots, right? Being sort of rooted, headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, which is arguably the home of luxury. Many of the luxury brands that we all sort of aspire to own, have, are in possession of, you know, come from Switzerland. And so we always want to stay true to that. But no, absolutely, I think your assumption is spot on. It won't be something, it's definitely catered for
the North American market.
For the North American market, and it'll be a very international experience. We'll definitely be on board with like-minded guests who are, affluent, well-traveled, and if we are successful in what we're building, we will also cater to a demographic, a base that has never cruised before. Because again, that's part of the design of what we're executing, is that we want to build an experience, build a product that speaks to the person who's never taken a cruise before, that speaks to the person who is a luxury landlubber and has been all over the world across a number of properties over the years, but have never stepped foot on board a cruise experience. And so we're aiming to build something that speaks to that guest as well.
And that's a big part of what we can see through your presentation, right? I mean, it is a cruise, obviously, but it is a cruise that is going to make any luxury traveler feel very comfortable, being on board, right? I mean, not only will where avid cruisers are going to have a lot of fun because, it's going to be a very familiar experience to them, but at the same time, those that probably have never cruised before are also going to realize, it's not the typical cruise experience neither, and they're going to they're probably going to like that too, which is interesting. Talk to us, Steve.
Hi, Saul. How are you doing?
Hey, Steve.
Hi. Happy New Year. I have a guess. You talked about onboard credits. The amount on board is going to be in euros. What if you're not in Europe, say South America or Caribbean or whatever? Is it still going to be in euros?
Yeah. It's a great question, Steve, and that's the beauty and I guess I can say this. It was kind of done intentionally, right? Because the North American guest, or whenever we make any, regardless of where you're coming from, whenever we make that conversion to USD, our guests are going to benefit. You guys are going to benefit from it, right? So we kind of left it like that intentionally, so that yes, at the end of the day, we deliver a little bit more value. So it's not much, but it's something. And so instead of just saying, hey, it's just a flat 500, no, the reality is actually it's a 500 and change. And so that'll be across the board.
Good. Thank you. What about solo travelers? What's your position on cost for solo travelers? Do you have accommodation specifically for them? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, no, good question. We anticipate we will have lots of solos traveling with us, and so in terms of accommodation, there's not a dedicated, purpose-built accommodation for a solo traveler. But what I can tell you is, we're not charging anybody 200% for traveling alone. Our single supplements, you'll find sort of, across the board, across our first year of journeys, go anywhere from a 10% supplement to 50%. And so we do anticipate, because traditionally across the luxury sort of cruise spectrum, there is a very large following of solo travelers, and so we definitely want to cater to our fair share.
Good. Marilyn is asking, will penthouse reservations include butler service? And then there's two questions about, I guess, COVID-19 related questions. So we'll one by one. Penthouse, yes. Butler, right? We said yes.
So we look at our three categories of suites, right? So we go from the lead-in, the ocean terrace suites, to our penthouses, and then the residences, right? So that's sort of the top end of the ship. The residences will have the dedicated, authentic butler experience in addition to the suite attendants. In addition to that, all of our guests on board will have access to, obviously, like a dedicated concierge team on board. But only the residences will have the dedicated butler service. In addition to that, as you leave the leading category and you move up to the penthouses, and then most certainly the residences, that also comes with a different string of benefits and amenities. So all the little things that maybe sometimes we take for granted, but complimentary laundry, complimentary pressing, And sort of, as you move up in the category, then you have access to those additional perks and amenities. The residences will also have access to, that dedicated marina platform and that sort of priority yacht tender experience. That's a benefit of being in the residences. And I think that sort of covers it high level.
Covers that. Okay. Marilyn, Michael, we will go on to talk about those, I guess, COVID-related questions. Allow me just 1 second to ask a couple more questions that I got offline too. So just want to highlight one thing that I thought it was very important to highlight. You're not looking to do any back-to-back itineraries, right? So basically, most of your itineraries, if not all of your itineraries, are just kind of different. You're not repeating itineraries, right? So like you said, somebody can just stay on board throughout the entire year and never repeat the same itinerary.
Exactly, Carlos. So we're not home porting. And so yes, the idea, the concept is, if you wanted to stay with us for the entire first year, you will be somewhere different every single day, with small exceptions, right? Like maybe in the Mediterranean, for instance, our first few journeys will go Barcelona to Athens, Athens to Istanbul, and then we might go Istanbul back to Athens, right? So that's maybe we're touching Athens twice, right? If somebody was on board for those first 3 journeys or first 3 weeks, but then after that next journey, it continues to move onward, and always sort of follow the sun. So you can most certainly do back-to-back journeys with us. There is an additional, incentive for being on a back-to-back. There's an additional value savings. It comes with some additional journey experience credits. But no, the idea is you would not be repeating ports because we're not home porting anywhere.
Now that's going to hold true, especially for year 1. But once you go into Alaska, I'm sure you're going to do some back-to-back in Alaska. You're going to repeat some itineraries in Alaska, I would imagine, if you want to have a full season.
Right.
You have to, right?
Yeah.
But then
we want to have a full season, and so that's where it gets a little trickier. And it's part of.
You have Explora too, and then.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Then you want to do that. If you want to do some kind of the same thing, then you go and Explora too, which is going to start again from Europe.
Yeah.
The same concept. Okay, makes sense. Now. You do talk a lot about, well, you mentioned it a couple of times, but in previous conversations with you and Chris, you talk about ocean state of mind quite a bit, right? And that brings me to, the reality that you're focusing on destinations, but at the same time, you're making the ship also part of that destination experience. You want people to experience that yacht-like, I guess, luxury, yacht-like experience on board, and make that part of the destination, including the fact that most of your itineraries are going to have sea days on purpose, right? Specifically so that you can make the ship part of the experience.
Yeah, no, it's we love to reference Explora 1 as a supersized super yacht, right? Because she certainly, her silhouette, her profile, she's built like a super yacht, and that is by design. We partner with some of the world's foremost yacht engineers and super yacht architects, and so there's a reason why Explora 1, regardless of her tonnage, looks like a super yacht. And no, I mean, Carlos, it's you kind of hit the nail on the head. We are. Our entire sort of our mantra is this ocean state of mind. Everything has been designed to really bring our guests closer to the ocean, bring the ocean closer to you. I think, as an industry, and Carlos, we've all been at this for a very long time. As an industry, I think we've sort of have gotten away from that a little bit too much, where, folks tend to build ships, and it's all about sort of, let's focus on the ship and the design and the offerings and bells and the whistles, which there's nothing wrong with that. We'll obviously have them, but you lose focus, you lose sight of bringing the ocean in and creating spaces, creating generous outdoor spaces that bring you outside, bring you closer to the sea. And even when you're indoor, you're still experiencing the sea. You still have the sea the ocean sort of in, within your vision, within your eyesight. And that's sort of part of the design, super yacht design of Explora 1 and her sister ships.
And talking about design and architecture of the ship and so forth brings me to my my next question, which is, so we very briefly talked about this. I don't know if on purpose or not, but a lot of new cruise lines are going to be launching in the next few years. I mean, there's a few in the pipe. There's a few that are recently launched not too long ago. And every time there's a new cruise line, there's challenges, right? I mean, especially when somebody, with a company starting from scratch, there are challenges, right? What can guarantee our guests that you guys do have the right experience in building the ships, right? Right architecture, that you have the finances to make it happen, right? Can you just briefly talk a little bit about, kind of what's backing Explora Journeys and
no, it's and I'm sorry, you guys, if this sounds repetitive, if you heard me say it in the beginning, but it's a good point to sort of reinforce, because unlike others in the industry, we're privately owned, and we're privately owned by the Aponte family. It is a family-owned and ran operation, and the Apontes are the owners of Mediterranean Shipping Corporation, right? So we all see those not so sexy cargo ships out in the oceans, right? Traveling across the globe. That's their primary business. And they're now the world's largest privately owned shipping corporation. And so we have that financial strength and backing behind us. To kind of put it all into perspective, the MSC group, obviously, yes, the core of the business is cargo. They have a passenger ferry business. Then they have, obviously, MSC Cruises, which is our sister brand. And then they have us. But if you think of MSC Cruises, right? So if we think of the contemporary cruise space, Carlos, you can keep me honest here. I think they have 19 ships at the moment. I think they have 2 more coming online over the next year. That entire organization, which, by the way, our sister brand is the only privately owned cruise line in the industry today. Our sister brand only contributes a very small, very, very, very small percentage of the overall revenue for the MSC group. And so that, again, plays into what we're building and what we're executing, because the family, again, is not driven by, profits. They're not there. We don't have to report to, shareholders. And so, working for a privately owned and ran business comes with its advantages. And we're able to offer a lot of financial strength behind the product. But coming back to shipbuilding, taking into consideration what I just said, the family has been building ships for a very long time, for generations. I mean, not just the cargo ships, right, but the cruise ships. And so.
Right. So basically, we shouldn't be afraid about, the ship wasn't ready on time, or the shipyard had. That's kind of where I was going in part. A lot of new cruise lines come out and have this sort of issues, and that's because they either don't have a lot of experience with shipyards, right? It's probably the first time they're putting one ship in the water. Right? You guys, the family, has been doing this for a long time.
Very long time, and they've been doing it with the same shipbuilders, right? Year after year after year after year, and deep-rooted relationships, and and I think and you've been doing this for a while as well. We've partnered with the best in the industry, with Fincantieri. The luxury space, that is who you want to build that's who you want to build your ships. And,
I just want to share, and I just want to share a very, very short story. I had the pleasure and honor to have a short chat with Mr. Vago that that day that we went for dinner, and something that he said really stuck with me, which is obviously the MSC Corporation and the Aponte family has had a lot of experience building ships and cruises and so forth, but they kind of what was behind the creation of Explora was this dream that he had to be able to let other guests experience the same type of luxury experience he has on his own private yacht, right?
Yeah.
And so he wanted to bring that experience he has in his own private yacht into this brand and allow guests to really experience what luxury yacht, I guess yacht, lifestyle is in a way,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
While offering a full-fledged and diverse cruise experience. And so
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up because I think, like you said, a little bit of that passion project that is involved into this. You can obviously tell by the pictures that there is a lot of money being put into the design and the finishes of the expected finishes of the of the ship and so forth. And so hopefully what we're going to get to experience is a very luxurious looking ship with an incredible staff to guest ratio that will offer huge spaces, great service and experience, and kind of create your own space in the luxury cruise market.
Yeah.
And right before I go into those COVID protocols, one last question: do you have a little information you can share about what other amenities will those guests in the higher categories will get that will be unique to them?
Yeah. So
aside from the butler service, and aside from the VIP, and aside from laundry service, and aside from what we just spoke about, anything else that we haven't mentioned?
So laundry service, I think it's big, dry cleaning, and as you go sort of from the owner's residence down, right, then that comes with other amenities like guaranteed access and reservations to all the restaurants. You're always going to be guaranteed a spot. Across our 9 different culinary experiences, we're really only going to require reservations for 2 of them, and naturally guess that the reason why we're doing that is because they're some of the most intimate spaces. But outside of that, again, no surcharge for any of the restaurants. And so, yes, of course, if you're staying in one of our residences, you have a guaranteed spot, right? Whenever you want it. And so those are sort of the added perks that come along with staying in the residences, plus access to that marina platform and the private, the VIP sort of lounge in that aft space. And a couple of the little things that are in the works. We can't give it all away, but we're constantly looking to enhance the experience for our guests on board and introduce a little bit more surprise and delight moments, which will be across the board for everybody. But what else can we do to sort of raise the bar for the guests that are staying in our most premium and sort of coveted suites? So more to come.
Good. All right. So now let's talk about protocols and COVID protocols.
Yeah.
What do we know
sure.
about that? I mean, I know that we're still a little bit away from your maiden voyage,
a year and a half.
What do we know?
Yeah, a year and a half. And I think we all on this call today, I think we all would agree that hopefully in a year and a half, this is far behind us. And we're all sort of, back to normal, and this is all in our peripheral, and we could, exchange conversations about sort of the last 2 years that we've all, experienced. But the reality is, of course, it is top of mind, right, for the industry as a whole, for tourism, right, as a whole. What we all need to remember and keep top of mind and be very, very clear about is that pre-COVID world, all of you who are existing cruisers know this exceptionally well. Pre-COVID world, the cruise lines have arguably always operated the safest, cleanliest travel experience out there. We're the only industry that has always reported to the CDC and report everything. Let's face it. I think the worst thing you could have ever caught on a cruise ship before is that norovirus, right? Which, listen, I've caught it. It sucks, but only less than 1% of actual cases transpire on board cruise ships. And if you really think about it, that is just
substantially on land. You go to a restaurant and 15-20% of the people around you right now could have
Yeah.
Omicron when you're in a ship less than 1%. So no, I get that. But so we're probably too far away to talk about strict decisions that you guys might have made of, you have to wear masks or not masks, or I'm sure that'll change 10 times before we get to 23. But how about flexibility in terms of, somebody puts in a deposit right now? Is that deposit refundable? Until when is it refundable? And is there any flexibility because of COVID in terms of those payments? Like, what do we know about that so far?
Yeah, I mean, look, Carlos, it's a good question, and I could probably, I'll probably have to share with you sort of, and you can share with everybody, sort of that deposit schedule and when you go into penalty, right? And up until what point you can, cancel or change a reservation with us with 0 penalties. We're all about creating very flexible policies and, just being very joyful partners to do business with. So, I can't really I can't give you a COVID specific related answer for a booking that's made today for one of our journeys in 2023 and 2024, because we just don't know, right? I think as an industry as a whole, we anticipate that this will be far behind us. And again, won't have to be dealing with this. It's also hard to say, we can't even get into requirements. We'll do this, won't do that. Again, it's 2023 and 2024 that we're focused on. And so, if we had to use a sort of a case example, I guess we could look at how our sister brand is operating. I mean, they were one of the first brands to operate sort of, during the pandemic, and operate, all of their voyages successfully without any reported cases on board. And so, I guess we could kind of keep that in mind. But to your point, we're a year and a half away.
So as of right now, any booking that is midday would, unless you're taking advantage of the early savings, 10% saving, you're putting a deposit.
25%.
That deposit is full, 25%. That's fully refundable up until 120 days out, approximately.
I believe it's 120 for our lead-in suites, and then 150 for our like residences and penthouses.
Okay. Yeah. So between then, full flexibility to, even if you make the early payment, you're taking advantage of the savings, but you still have a lot of flexibility. And between now and then, Explora will come out with a lot more information regarding whether or not vaccinations will be required, whether or not masks will be required, whether or not some of those protocols will exist, and which, what will they be. At that point, if there's something you don't like or you don't feel comfortable with, if it was not what you were expecting, then obviously, you can obviously request a refund, and we can have that conversation then. I guess what we're trying to say is we just don't have a lot of that information just yet. But on the other end, get full flexibility to decide on whether or not they like to adhere with the created protocols in about 6 months from now, whenever they come out. Right. And have full flexibility to decide what they want to do at that point, right? I guess the important part is, we're expecting great demand for Explora. So if there's something that you like, there's no online booking for Explora journeys, not now, and no expectation when that would happen. But what we specialize in and what our forte is being able to really understand what you're looking for. Ask the right questions, get to know you, and hopefully identify the right itinerary for you. And then, curate that experience and show along, provide you with pricing. Luxury travelers deserve personalized service, and that's what we're here to provide. And because of that relationship that we have with Explora, we're able to obviously get that information very quickly, very accurately, and provide you with, the best possible pricing, of course. So with that said, I want to be very respectful of everybody's time. And I know that we went a little bit over the hour, and obviously good questions out there, good information. Brand new cruise line. What other questions are out there? I want to make sure that we ask every single one of them before we let this gentleman go. Saul, as you can possibly imagine, Lam's new cruise line is a very busy guy. So
No, you guys have all my attention. So this is a very important partnership, and again, a very special sort of moment, milestone really along our journey. So
if somebody Googles Explorers and calls directly, will they get a better price than if they do it through us?
No.
Okay, I wanted to just make sure that.
No, you get all the added positives about booking through your advisor, which is that personalized service. Obviously, there's these extra perks that are exclusive for you guys for that 2-week period. But no, and you can, and Carlos, and I've told you this before, and you can confidently send every single one of your clients to the explorerjourneys.com website. There's this amazing, impactful 3-minute video that sort of highlights the brand and our launch. So I encourage you all to pour yourselves your favorite beverage, sit back, watch it for 3 minutes, get inspired, and build up a whole new list of questions for Carlos and team. But everything absolutely points back to our travel advisors.
Sorry about that. Okay, so for those that are looking to inquire about pricing, you can email me directly at that email address I put in the chat. So you can get carlos@luxurycruiseconnections.com, and we'll be happy to have one of our advisors call you right away and do information. You can also call us from anywhere at 305-914-1733, and that's kind of our international number, because I know that we have a lot of Canadians also that usually want to get a hold of us. Or you can also reach us at 1-866-97-0377. I'm going to put that number in the chat as well. And we'll be happy to get, to take really good care of you. What other questions do we have before we let go of Saul? What other questions do we have? You can unmute yourself as well.
Yeah, and Carlos, you guys should know this. I know we've mentioned it, but something that's pretty cool and unique is that any of your advisors, on your team, if they want to schedule a call with one of our ambassadors to have a joint conversation with our team at Explora Journeys, any one of your advisors and any one of your clients, any one of you on the call today can absolutely do that. We welcome it. We're actually one of the first in the industry to offer that because, the reality is we should be subject matter experts, right? It's hard for these guys to know everything, every intimate detail about us. And so if you wanted to jump on a phone call with your advisor and one of our ambassadors, we welcome that. We'll soon be releasing sort of the capabilities for you to schedule that jointly. So more to come, but it's a pretty cool and unique offering.
Perfect. That's great. Well, I think this has been very, very insightful. Please, this is when we would ask any final questions. Since I can see Maurice and Jill, and you were one of our first ones to join, what do you guys think? Did you guys enjoy it? Did you like it? Go ahead and unmute yourself. I want to hear your feedback, your comments. Go ahead.
I think there was a lot of information that was given. I was, the only thing that was a little disappointing to us was the excursions. Because if the journeys, if I'm going far away, I like to be away. And so if we did, it's about 11 nights, I guess we were looking at the Iceland one and the Norwegian one, because that's two areas we haven't been. So that was the only thing, because then we'd have to try and figure that part out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's good feedback. I knew, we all knew that we were going to have some folks that weren't going to be fans of not including the destination experiences, but that's the beauty of using your travel advisor. They can take care of all of that for you and take the worry out of it. And, and we're going to make it as easy as possible for Carlos and his team and for you guys, with the information right up front. We'll have a variety of offerings. You won't be restricted to having to, jump out of bed, at 6 o'clock in the morning to go on a specific shore excursion. We'll offer a variety of departure times for the same excursion. And so just hang in there with us. We'll have a lot more information to share with you soon. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Of course.
Thank you for asking the question. And I want to elaborate a little bit more on that answer. So to put everything in perspective, you should know that what makes our partnership so great is the fact that, yes, we have access to the curated shore excursions that Explora Journeys is going to have to offer all of our guests. But, and this is interesting, we didn't talk about this, but so for those that don't know, Virtuoso is the largest luxury travel consortia in the world, right? And ever in the history of Virtuoso, have they ever included a cruise line on what the preview program? And what this means is Explora Journeys is the first ever cruise line to participate in this preview program for Virtuoso, making them the only yet to cruise line to be part of the program, which because we're part of Virtuoso as well from the agency side, I mean that our guests are going to be able to take advantage of additional perks and amenities, which could very well be experience credits, right? So you'll have, for example, the up to $500 experience credit that we're going to offer for, all of you that participated. There are going to be, depending on the itinerary, most likely some additional experience credit use. As an agency, we'll most likely gift you also some additional experience credit. And if there is something among the experiences that Explora is offering and thing that we can offer from, with our curated vendors as well that we have in each destinations, that's part of what we do as well. So, and we have a concierge department takes care of you. Like once the advisor takes care of your reservation, then there is a team of concierge advisors that can walk you through the entire process, selecting your restaurant reservations, your excursions, your transfers, your flights, everything imagine, so that even though these might not be included per se in the fare, we'll make sure, first of all, they're not going to be expensive neither. I know we've had this conversations before. The point is, they're going to be well priced, right? Fairly priced, I guess is the right word. And we'll make sure that you can take advantage of each one of those ports and destinations just like you would have wanted if they were included.
And Carlos, Maurice, I appreciate you asking the question, and Carlos, I really appreciate you sort of elaborating on that. And I think what I would add to it, and hopefully Carlos doesn't kick me under the table, but because of them being, Virtuoso preferred agency, and because we are, as Carlos was saying, we are the first ocean experience, right, to be welcomed into this preview program, which Virtuoso only sets aside for hotels, right? Because as new hotels come online and they're being built, they obviously want to start driving demand and start driving business and make bookings. But so this preview program has always existed for hotels, so that the travel agency community can help bring that brand to the forefront. So we're the first ocean experience, for the first cruise line to be part of that, which is really special and unique, and it just it solidifies the belief in what we're building and what we're going to be offering. So what Carlos was alluding to is that because of this partnership, there will be journeys throughout the year that we, Explora Journeys, work with Virtuoso to offer sort of what they refer to as hosted journeys. And so there's a very good chance that somebody in Carlos's team will be on board as sort of the Virtuoso dedicated host. So, which is really cool, but what's very unique about that is that specific journey, and there's going to be a number of them. That journey will come with an added benefit of a complimentary shore excursion, a destination experience that is carefully curated, and it's not carefully curated by Virtuoso, and it's not part of the traditional offering that any other guest on this ship can sort of just pull off the rack and book. So it's going to be a very unique experience. And there'll be a number of journeys throughout the year where we partner with Virtuoso and Luxury Cruise Connections to offer that. So there will be some complimentary excursions that you can absolutely take part of, and Carlos and team can brief you and give you those details once they're ready.
What about we didn't talk about flights, but flights are not part of the included offering either, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
when we talk about fully inclusive, we're talking about the onboard experience is fully inclusive. So there's no, I guess the only thing you're gonna have to pay for is casino and spa.
Yeah.
And unless you want an extremely expensive bottle of wine or
Of
scotch
course.
or,
Yeah.
but
Can't
you
give
are.
I can't give away the Dom Perignon for free.
We can. We'll be happy.
You can.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's that's the idea. I mean, it is a luxury experience, and
Yeah.
so it's about not having to you literally you get to your suite and or residence, and you don't have to worry about having to pay for anything else. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, good. Let's see. David Gallup, to me, what do you think? If you have your camera on, I'm gonna call you up. Go ahead and unmute yourself. I want to hear you. I want to hear what you think of it.
Putting me on the spot here, Carlos.
Yeah, I know. I think we're having you gotta unmute yourself. Well, in the meantime, if there's anybody else that has any, please. And all right.
I just wanted because I can now see the chat. So I now can see some of the questions that you guys have shot my way. But I also just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to all of you who are saying thank you for the presentation. Certainly appreciate the feedback and appreciate your time. I know all of our time is very valuable. It's obviously one of the it's a hot commodity these days, so we appreciate you taking the time to learn about Explora Journeys and listen to me ramble on about this exciting new brand that I'm very passionate about.
There's David. What do you think, David?
Do you hear us?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay.
I'll let her talk.
Oh,
I'm very hard to understand nowadays.
no, this was fun. We have not cruised in a while, obviously, like a lot of people. And
Yeah.
we're getting real vicarious enjoyment out of listening to you two and what your ships have to offer. But I must put a little negative in there about the shore excursions also. Because
Okay.
they have the price point you have is a little high, and then when you add the excursions, it really bounces it up. And we'd rather have them included if you can do that, or think about it and change your minds.
I will
But I know
share.
you want
I
an
will share that
You
feedback.
want an exclusive experience, but
Yeah.
but we did enjoy today very much. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Saul, about pre, I guess pre or post hotels, so pre-boarding hotels. Any of the journeys are going to have hotels included in pre or post or anything like that?
Yeah, so that program it's still underway. We absolutely will have. We have to have an offering of preferred hotels that we will certainly offer up and recommend. And if anybody's booking one of those pre and post experiences with us, yes, it will be included. But again, being very, very selective with hotel partners. Just partners across the board. So yeah, it'll definitely be part of the offering, but just more to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to let Saul go. But please know, you have my email address, you have our phone number. If you have any more questions, feel free to email us, call us. We're here for you. We want to take care of you. We want to make sure any additional questions you have, most importantly, we want to make sure we get you on board the right experience, the right itinerary, and know that you're in great hands, both with us and Explora Journeys. So I want to thank you all for participating today, being here with us. We do this quite often, so stay on with our emails. Happy to have you on future presentations. This one particularly was very special, and Saul, we want to really thank you for your time and Explora Journeys, for your partnership and trust and confidence you have in us. And we look forward to a very successful launch and a very successful 2022 booking season for you guys.
That we do. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, team. I appreciate all of you and all of you that stayed with us this entire time, which is pretty impressive. You all have earned an adult beverage of your choice. So keep these guys busy. They're amazing. Their entire team is just a wonderful group of individuals. And you're in absolutely great hands with both of us. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Bye.
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 The dog.
Mhm.